Nekopara, otherwise known as Cat's Paradise, is a series of adult visual novel games developed by Nekopara. Yep, you heard me right. Today we're going to be reviewing an adult visual novel game. The Nekopara games take place in an alternate world which is like ours with only a small difference, that being that humans live and work alongside catgirls, which, as the series later explains, are more like genetically modified cats rather than people, therefore making their behaviour more akin to cats, and also removing all of their human rights. Which, I'm not actually sure if them being more like cats actually makes this game any better or worse in terms of what happens in the game and how morally questionable a lot of it is. The series is centered around the work and home life of our protagonist, Kasho Minazuki, as he opens up a patisserie alongside the help of his little sister and his family's catgirls.
Minedoki.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your...
Chocolat is very cheerful and straightforward, being almost dog-like in her personality and her fondness for her master. Her and her twin sister Vanilla are the youngest of the catgirls. Chocolat is always friendly and full of energy, leading to everyone around her loving her, but she isn't the brightest and isn't very good at dealing with complicated stuff. Chocolat doesn't often get upset, but when she does, she usually switches back to her normal, energetic self fairly quickly. Oftentimes throughout the story, she is shown to be one of the more curious catgirls, and often has a childlike look on things. When Chocolat talks about herself, she often talks in third person, further implying her mental age. Vanilla is quite often misunderstood due to the fact that she is quiet and rarely expresses her emotions. Due to her quiet nature, Vanilla somewhat fits the kudere archetype. Due to her quiet, emotionless nature, Vanilla somewhat fits the kudere archetype. Vanilla is obsessed with Chocolat and will go or do anything that Chocolat does. At several points throughout the story, Vanilla states that she is happy as long as Chocolat is. Despite her obsession with Chocolat, personality-wise, Vanilla is the complete opposite to her. And there is a running gag throughout the whole story where Vanilla will often refer to Kasho as Ero Patissier, which translated I believe is pervy pastry puffer, or pervy patissier. Patissier? Fuck, I don't know French. Coconut, despite being the third youngest among the catgirls, is also the tallest and has the best physical capabilities. Her larger size often causes her grief as she worries about not having a very feminine appearance. Although Coconut has great physical ability and loves helping people, she often ends up messing up due to her poor coordination. Due to several factors such as her appearance and lack of coordination, Coconut has a low self-esteem and tries to pretend to be more mature than she actually is. Later in the story, after becoming Kasho's companion, she learns to be true to herself and accept who she really is. She also begins to refer to Kasho as Omi-chan. Azuki is the oldest of the catgirls, and is oftentimes the one that steps up as their leader when needed. She is fearless and easygoing, oftentimes not being afraid to speak her mind. She takes offense to people mentioning her short stature, and especially when Coconut mentions it. Despite her usual fearlessness and easygoing attitude, when it comes to her feelings for Kasho, she is very shy and refuses to express how she really feels, perfectly fitting her into the tsundere archetype. Something that Azuki does frequently throughout the story is refer to the other catgirls by different names. For example, instead of Coconut, she calls her... The fuck did I write there? For example, instead of Coconut, she calls her Nuts. Oh, alright. I fucking wrote something completely different. With Maple, she calls her Paulme, or with Cinnamon, she calls her Monsina, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what she calls Vanilla or Chocolate. Maple is prideful, quick-thinking, and quite often arrogant. She typically speaks her mind without any thought of how others will feel about it, and is shown to be the most obsessed about materialistic goods amongst all the Catgirls. Maple presents herself as the most independent and mature of the Catgirls, often showing off how refined she is, especially with her taste for teas. Despite her outward nature, she is shown to be the most scared over the smallest things, such as the dark, or closing or locking the door in the toilet. She dislikes being called a Catgirl since she believes that people only see her as a Catgirl and not as a person. This is shown in several points throughout the story, such as when a video was posted of her singing. She got angry about people making comments about her being a Catgirl singing, or some shit like that. Cinnamon is the most relaxed and laid back out of the Catgirls, often taking an easygoing, motherly approach to dealing with the other Catgirls. She is shown to be the most sensitive to erotic stuff and is quite often shown getting hot and bothered over the smallest of things. She also describes her own masochistic fantasies that arise out of the smallest misunderstandings or words that sound dirty out of context. Out of all the Catgirls, she is the largest bust size and is quite often teased for it by the other Catgirls. Shigure is Kasha's younger sister. She has a brother complex and is obsessed with Kasha. It is quite often shown or implied that she harbours an incestuous love for her brother. She is shown at several points throughout the series to get nosebleeds when shown love by Kasha. She is also shown to be the Catgirl's motherly figure and is responsible for the majority of them. She also trained them all. She's also shown to be very calm and well composed, even when under pressure. Shigure runs the blog for the restaurant and posts pictures of the Catgirls in order to draw people's attention to the patisserie. She also mentions running a business, but that isn't expanded upon much at all in the story, and it's sort of just like a side joke thing. Nekopara is a visual novel, so the gameplay consists entirely of reading. The game doesn't offer any choices, so the player has no influence on the story, and there is no alternate paths or different endings. You're basically just clicking through the story. Throughout the game, the player can click a hand in the top right corner of the screen in order to interact with the characters. This usually involves petting them on the head, but they also have added in different voices and facial animations for the characters, depending on where the player pats them. The game uses animated models for the Catgirls and Shigure, allowing the player to see the characters talking and in some cases moving around. The game is fully voiced and comes with its own music. The voice acting is very well done and professional. I personally feel like all the voices match the characters very well. The music is also very well composed, but can be rather repetitive.
ああ、ごめん。洗い物に集中してて。
Volume 0 is a prequel to Volume 1, and it is a look inside a day in the life of Shigure and the other Catgirls, before Kasha moves out to start his patisserie. The game is only about an hour long, and doesn't do much for the story besides introducing the Catgirls and the relationships they have with each other and Shigure. Also, I left this game running to get to the 2-hour mark so I could use the point shop and change my background to make my Steam account even more degenerate. Volume 1 sees the main character Kasha move away from his parents' home in order to pursue his dream of opening up a patisserie. While he is unboxing his belongings, he notices an extra heavy package that shouldn't be there. Upon opening it, he discovers a small family of refugees. Oh yeah, and also two of his family's Catgirls, Chocolate and Vanilla. Chocolate, who is obsessed with Kasha, didn't want to leave his side, and Vanilla, who is obsessed with Chocolate, followed her not wanting to leave her side, therefore creating like a train of obsession leading to all of them being at this new shop. After some convincing, Kasha agrees to let them stay with him, and so our story begins. Just thought I'd quickly mention that my reviews of each volume aren't going to be very long because, I don't know, the gameplay loop through all of them is pretty similar. It's sort of just relationship deepens with two of the cat girls throughout the story, but it's like a cycle of deepen relationship with one of the cat girls, sleep with the cat girl, deepen relationship with the other one, sleep with that cat girl, and the cycle continues. Unless, of course, you don't have the R18 patch. Then, I haven't actually played it without the R18 patch. I assume that it just skips over some of the stuff, but still implies that it happened. In Volume 2, Shigure and the other 4 cat girls begin to work at Le Solier. This volume focuses on the deepening relationship between Kasho, Coconut, and Azuki. And like I said earlier, it's just the arc. The first one with chocolate and vanilla, second is Coconut and Azuki, third Maple and Coconut. No, Maple and Cinnamon. Crap, did I say coconut instead of cinnamon earlier? The story continues in Volume 3 and focuses on Maple and Cinnamon as they deepen their relationship with Kasho, as well as pursue their dreams of singing. I found this was the longest game in the series, mainly because it had an entire subplot around Maple and Cinnamon singing and a bunch of other shit. Fun. It was a nice mix-up. It expanded on characters. It was more than just the same cycle. Volume 4 wraps up the main story of the series, with Kasho and the Catgirls preparing for the Christmas season. Meanwhile, Kasho goes on his own journey in order to improve his baking skills and earn his father's approval. Aren't we all? Overall, I found certain aspects of this series to be really fun and enjoyable. For example, the bond between the Catgirls and the actual family-like, friend-like sort of dynamic between them. But I often found myself at times wanting to skip over some of the hentai scenes, as it just didn't feel right. Especially when you consider their age and relationship with Kasho, with him as sort of being a master or father-like or older brother. Some of them just didn't feel right and they felt kind of forced. Overall, after finishing the games, I feel like I would have enjoyed them much more if it was more focused on the dynamic between the Catgirls and not the Catgirl randomly goes into heat, you must sleep with her. But considering all this, I give Nekopara 6 completely normal cats out of, yes,